Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome back to Vibe Nation. Today we're here to watch another video. Today we're here to watch SCP Foundation contains One Punch Man. Saitama's big surprise. That is an interesting and a bold claim. I'd like to see this. How did they manage to even contain one? How they contain Saitama? That's what I want to know. So let's go. If you guys want to watch the original video, links are in the description down below. It'll go over to SCP Explained, and let's go. In 3, 2, 1, play.
Tokyo lies in ruins. Skyscrapers have toppled. Roads have collapsed. Helicopters and tanks have been ripped to shreds. And seemingly unstoppable monsters wander through the rubble. A giant, hideous reptile, eyes glowing with malice. SCP-682. Is this the result of a containment breach? No. It's exactly where the Foundation wants it to be. Watched by a Foundation drone floating high above in the smog-choked sky. They're anticipating a battle of epic proportions. Not far away, another monster crawls from the rubble that was once a major building in the Tokyo Financial District. Its form hideously elongated, its skin white as death. Its face, an omen of absolute doom.
Oh wait, 096?
SCP-096. Is this the result of a containment breach? Once again, no. It's here exactly by the Foundation's design. In between these anomalous titans stands the reason that the Foundation dispatched them here. A man in a yellow costume, his white cape flowing in the wind, the evening sun shining off the dome of his perfectly bald head. In the eyes of the SCP Foundation, he's one of the most dangerous anomalies they've ever encountered. To the man himself, he's just Saitama, the man who's just a hero for fun. With the help of the potentially world-ending anomalies, SCP-682 and SCP-096, could the SCP Foundation count Saitama among their thousands of secured, contained, and protected anomalies? Just 2 hours earlier, the city was still standing. A seemingly normal man, unremarkable save for his baldness, was taking a day trip into the city, hoping to enjoy the fine restaurants and maybe buy some new t-shirts in Shibuya. It's his day off. He doesn't intend to get into any fights. But today, that won't be his choice. Far above, a Foundation drone tracks his every move, feeding up-to-the-minute data to the many Japanese Foundation field agents embedded in the crowds around him. Their mission is simple. Ferry the man known as Saitama to an isolated location, then move in to intercept. Hopefully, he'd see reason and submit to containment voluntarily.
But my question is,
they'd
why?
need to resort to more extreme.
I mean, yeah, and I can
a field agent disguised as a promoter approached
with all the
outside
hold on a
the
minute.
grocery store. Their intel indicated that.
Oh, so like I know they have like a whole Heroes Association, all that and all that jazz, but like, would it make sense to even contain Saitama, especially with all the other villains and stuff that show up that look like the SCPs themselves? Like, I'm just saying, like, it just doesn't make any sense at this point. If you're gonna go ahead and lock up Saitama, you might as well go ahead and lock up Tatsumaki, her sister, Genos, who else? Just Boros. Like, I'm just saying, it just doesn't. This is just him doesn't make any sense.
For all his anomalous potential, Saitama couldn't resist a good deal, and that's a weakness they'd be happy to exploit. The field agent gave Saitama a coupon promising a 60% off deal at a nearby sushi restaurant that was a little off the beaten track. Today only. The hairless hero couldn't help but smile. Man, that's a great deal. I'd have to be a moron to pass that up. Hook, line, and sinker. 20 minutes later, Saitama was arriving at the spicy, cheap-priced sushi restaurant, completely unaware that a trap had been laid for him and that the entire 2-mile radius around the restaurant had been evacuated in advance, just in case things got ugly. And things were absolutely going to get ugly. All of this had started when Foundation researchers in Tokyo noticed strange and impossible things. Anomalies, known to some of their Japanese research division as mysterious beings, were turning up dead. Incredibly powerful creatures, seemingly effortlessly killed. The only thing that could be killing these anomalies was an even more powerful anomaly, which led agents to a local apartment building where the recorded Hume level was off the charts. One of the few residents left in this building, believed by many to be a dangerous area, was a bald man who lived alone and matched certain eyewitness reports of a mysterious figure dressed like a superhero, killing monsters multiple times his size. A loose variable like that couldn't be left uncontained. The SCP Foundation needed to lock him up and conduct as many tests as they could. Back to the now, as Saitama had just walked into the Foundation front business posing as a sushi restaurant. He placed his order and waited, when suddenly a heavily armed mobile task force emerged from the shadows, aiming high-powered assault rifles loaded with armor-piercing rounds that could easily put down a rhino. Saitama was surrounded, but he seemed oblivious to the danger. "Are you guys here for the sushi deal? You're a little overdressed." The mobile task force didn't feel like wasting any time. The squad leader barked an order for Saitama to come quietly and submit himself to custody. If he didn't, they were authorized to use lethal force. Saitama protested that he couldn't leave now. He'd miss the sushi deal. Before the mission, the squad leader had been briefed that they were dealing with an impossibly powerful anomaly. He'd lost friends on the SCP-682 detail, so he sure as hell wasn't going to take a chance on this one. He commanded his squad to open fire. The crackle of automatic gunfire echoed through the streets. The muzzle flashes turned
any
the
good
sushi
that
restaurant into a photosensitive's worst nightmare, as bullets shredded through the front desk and peppered the wall. But somehow, not a single one hit Saitama. He wasn't even there. In his surprise, the squad leader turned, only to see Saitama standing right behind him. "You ought to be more careful where you're pointing those things. You could hurt somebody." The squad leader pivoted and tried to fire at Saitama again, but with a single flick of his index finger, the leader was sent flying through the wall, and another 2 walls after it. In a panic, the second-in-command requested immediate backup and ordered the team to fall back. There was another deafening crack from across the street, as a Foundation sniper positioned in a nearby building fired a .50 caliber round straight into the back of Saitama's head. The bullet simply pinged off of Saitama's scalp like a BB fired at the side of a car. He itched the back of his head, barely even noticing it. Luckily for the Foundation, this was only Plan A. Plan B started when the bomb underneath the fake sushi restaurant exploded, reducing the entire building to rubble with Saitama inside of it. That, they estimated, was sure to at least slow him down.
Slow him down, that's all?
Until the bald hero for fun effortlessly climbed out of the rubble, brushing brick dust from his outfit. Somehow, in the course of the explosion, he'd managed to change from his civilian outfit to his hero uniform. Now he was going to get at least semi-serious. But so was the Foundation.
How?
They rolled out the heavy artillery. State-of-the-art tanks spilled into the streets, armed with cannons and .50 caliber machine guns. Above, they scrambled several attack helicopters and a pair of F-35 jets. The isolated Tokyo suburbs soon became a war zone, with the belligerents being the most powerful organization in the world, and one bored, bald man. With speed that regular eyes
not the
couldn't
health bars.
quantify, Saitama dodged around machine gun fire from land and air, bullets instead tearing up the asphalt beneath his feet. The tanks rolled in close to get a better chance of landing a hit on Saitama, but that would be their undoing. One fired a round from its main gun, which Saitama simply swatted out of the air like an annoying fly. Fractions of a second after, he lunged forward and with one punch reduced the tank to scrap metal. The men inside were lucky that they weren't killed. "I don't even know you guys," Saitama complained. "Why are you trying to ruin my day off like this?" The other tank fell back, realizing it wasn't going to be effective against
good
the air
choice.
support wasn't letting up.
But though I gotta admit, I'll be mad too. Like I'm on my day off, and I got people over here trying to.
Explosive rockets
Just imagine, right?
Around the
Imagine being Saitama, and you're on your day off, and just all of a sudden these people coming in with tanks, planes, rifles, and all that stuff, and you're like, this stuff isn't really phasing you, mind you, but it's kind of just like, bro, why? What did I do? What's the point of all this?
Wasn't about to take that lying down. He reached over and grabbed up a handful of small stones from the rubble of the destroyed road around him. Yes, this would do. He looked up into the sky, his superhuman vision zeroing in on his aerial pursuers. One by one, he tossed the pebbles into the air, firing them at a velocity that an anti-air weapon could only aspire to reach with its own projectiles. The pebbles perfectly struck the fuel tanks of each of the choppers and jets, sending them down with spectacular explosions, their burnt husks landing amongst buildings in the vicinity and starting quickly spreading fires. Little did
Y'all
Saitama
really
know,
didn't
the
have to do
Foundation had
this.
also placed Scranton reality anchors in different buildings around him, hoping to limit his power. Instead, his presence had caused the anchors to overload and explode. Saitama was even more powerful than the best Foundation estimates had allowed for. If they wanted any hope of subduing and containing him, they needed to requisition a little anomalous assistance. In the case of extreme emergencies like this one, where the anomalous enemy is extremely powerful but the area is so densely populated that ground deployment of hammer down is infeasible, the Foundation has a list of incredibly dangerous anomalies that can be deployed on short notice in order to provide a show of extreme force against a seemingly unstoppable enemy. Containing Saitama was considered,
And he
a
still
severe
wouldn't care.
enough emergency
He still wouldn't
to
care.
allow for this. While the less controllable anomalies were being prepared, the remnants of the Experimental Mobile Task Force, Pandora's Box, was zeroing in on Saitama's location. Chief among them was SCP-076, Abel, an immortal warrior inhumanly proficient in combat, capable of producing weapons out of thin air. When he heard that a combatant as strong as Saitama was involved, he demanded to be allowed to face him. Abel was always looking for a new opportunity to test his skills. It wasn't long before the immortal warrior arrived in the ruined Tokyo suburb that had become a battlefield. He pulled 2 obsidian blades out of his weapon pocket dimensions and set his sights on Saitama. His heart was pumping, adrenaline firing through his veins. He roared a challenge of mortal combat to his bald foe. "Who are you supposed to be?" Saitama asked, scratching his head. "Like a cosplayer for a new video game or something?" Abel didn't take kindly to this. The stranger known as Saitama needed to be taught respect. He raised his weapons and charged in, moving with speed and intensity impossible for a mortal man. He would cleave this Saitama's bald head from his... Bam! A single punch from Saitama sent Abel sailing up through the air, out through the atmosphere, and into the cold, unforgiving darkness of space. It happened so quickly that the warrior didn't even know that he was dead. "Huh, that was weird," Saitama said. While Abel had been ineffective in subduing Saitama, he'd bought the Foundation just enough time to marshal the rest of their forces. High-speed pods were landing all across Tokyo, unleashing horrific monsters bent on destruction, all placed into a collision course with Saitama. Now, it was time for the real challenge. Half a mile west, SCP-2419, the Laughing Men, sadistic zombies made from the bodies of D-classes, thought to be almost impossible to kill, were unleashed, visiting indiscriminate violence on any civilians whom they happened to run into. As long as they helped weaken Saitama, the Foundation considered this to be an acceptable loss. 50
This
meters
is
north,
outrageous,
another
bro.
pod unleashed SCP-058, the Heart of Darkness, an anomaly capable of causing mass destruction with its highly flammable acid sprays, bladed tendrils, and sharp insect-like legs. It started destroying and setting alight nearby buildings, ripping up cars and attacking passersby. Again, these were deemed acceptable losses.
Really, though?
10 meters south of Saitama, a pod unleashed SCP-106, the Old Man, another immortal and incredibly sadistic SCP known for trapping its victims in a pocket dimension to torture them for as long as it wants. It would enjoy turning its talents for causing pain against a victim as strong as Saitama. That would be a truly delightful challenge. It was time to see if Saitama really was worthy to wear the title Hero. First, the Laughing Men attacked. They leapt onto Saitama, striking him with their gnarled fists, cackling like maniacs. Their initial strike was ferocious, but Saitama grabbed each of the Laughing Men and threw them down toward the ground, smashing them clean through the concrete and leaving only deep, dark holes in their place. Next came the Heart of Darkness, muttering its constant stream of insanity-causing gibberish. It rampaged towards Saitama, running straight through the buildings in its way, spraying fire and acid everywhere.
Acceptable
Saitama squared
losses,
up and
huh?
prepared himself. "Normal punch!" he yelled with steely determination. As the Heart of Darkness came within punching distance, Saitama unleashed. His single punch immediately exploded the heart into red mist, neutralizing the anomaly for good. Saitama was disappointed that the fight didn't go on for longer, especially with all of this buildup. But before he could feel any more ennui, he looked down and saw a black portal opening underneath his feet. It was SCP-106 reaching up from the ground, dragging Saitama down into the darkness of the pocket dimension. He had to admit, this was incredibly creepy. Foundation operatives back in the control room of the Tokyo containment site actually found themselves feeling relieved as Saitama disappeared into the pocket dimension and the portal closed behind him.
We just know he's gonna find his way out of there. Yeah, if anything, the old man will send him back, because what else is he gonna listen? The old man, Saitama isn't trapped with the old man. No, the old man is trapped with Saitama, and he has no idea what he's in for.
Perhaps this would be the culmination of it. The hero for fun would be gone, and they need only to undergo the standard procedures for recontaining SCP-106. But just as the Foundation was counting their blessings, another portal opened. Saitama climbed out, unharmed, covered in viscous black goo that had once been SCP-106. Yet another anomaly had been permanently neutralized by this deadly new anomaly, which the Foundation was considering codenaming One Punch Man. What a stressful day, Saitama said, looking at the corrosive black slime all over his clothes. I'm gonna need to get this dry cleaned. The Foundation had exhausted all other possible options. They needed to deploy the two anomalies most likely.
Other than being just extremely and just unnaturally strong, like what did Saitama do to really grab your attention for you guys to really want to contain him? I really want to know. I don't get it. Like, what was the point? What's the point of all this chaos and destruction? I really wonder what's the purpose?
To cause mass casualty events if deployed ineffectively. SCP-682, the hard-to-destroy reptile, and SCP-096, the Shy Guy. If their combined powers couldn't bring Saitama to heal, nothing could. All their hopes rested on this. Which brings us back to the start of this story. Saitama stood there, surrounded by two of the deadliest anomalies in existence. The second that he looked at SCP-096's face, the beast started to scream. It entered its rage state and lunged forward, arms extended to rip and tear, until a single punch utterly disintegrated the monster. SCP-682 was undeterred, finding Saitama no less disgusting than any other living being on the planet. It would destroy this insolent human. Even if he was powerful, the reptile could surely evolve and adapt to anything that he threw at it. If there was one thing that SCP-682 was incomparably good at, it was surviving despite it all. But as the monster attacked, Saitama unleashed his secret weapon, Serious Punch. With one strike, SCP-682 was splattered into green goo across half of Tokyo, annihilated so deeply that it would never recover, just like SCP-096. The two SCPs were recategorized, neutralized. Wow. That was easy, Saitama said with a relieved sigh. Nothing they had thrown at Saitama had been successful. No personnel, no weapon, no deadly anomaly. He was just too strong. But there was a single remaining resort, something that might turn their situation to their favor. A single operative approached Saitama in the rubble, armed with one item, a contract. The operative cleared his throat and asked, Mr. Saitama, I'd like to offer you a well-paid job at the SCP Foundation.
I mean,
now go check out SCP-096 versus Siren Head, or SCP-076 versus Chain.
Hey, listen, man. If you can't, control him, contain him, might as well offer him a job, because it's a better way to not have him come and fight us. We don't want that type of smoke. Oh, you definitely don't want that kind of smoke. All right, guys, that was SCP Foundation contains One Punch Man by offering him a job, basically. I mean, like, if anything, you might as well retitle this and to say it's the SCP Foundation versus One Punch Man, which was a no contest because I had no doubt that the man's name is One Punch Man. He is basically a gag character. He, like, it doesn't matter what you do, he's going to come out on top. That's just the long. That's just the short of it. Anyway, thank you guys for watching. I'm still trying to recover my voice, but thank you guys for watching. This has been Vibe Nation, and I will see you guys in the next one. I'm out. Peace.